right into it. This is going to get messy, even messier than last week's episode. I don't see this working out for anybody. This throuple, Lawrence, Condola, and Issa, it's not going to work. It's not going to work. And I think at the end, everybody's just going to be hurt and single. That's what I think is going on. Because now, since Lawrence, he started it, since he went over to talk to Issa about, not talking to Condola about him, since that has happened, now all of a sudden they running into each other. Issa is at a restaurant that Condola frequents. Lawrence just happens to walk in before Condola, and they start chatting it up about movies and reminiscing. While they're reminiscing, Condola walks in and it gets awkward. Why is it awkward? Because there's something still there. There's something still there between the both of them that they have just now ignited again by him going over there saying, oh, don't talk to Condola about me. You could have texted that to her. Why'd you have to see her in person? See what I'm saying? This is getting messy. It's getting messy. Now, Issa, whatever feelings that she had about Lawrence that, she muted when they were, officially done, are now starting to come back up. While she leaves this restaurant, she looks back. You don't got to look back. What you got to look back for? There ain't nothing there for you. But she looks back and she sees Lawrence and Condola embracing, and sis feels some way. See what I'm saying? Now stuff is starting to come up. Now it's happening. Now we're in the mess. How are we going to get out the mess? That is the question. They're not going to get out of it. There's no way. Like I said before, this show is real, right? They write about real situations. They give you a real outlook on relationships. I don't see this not ending terribly for everybody involved. It's going to be good TV. Let's get into Molly and Issa. They just need to fight. I just feel like these two cannot hang with each other for longer than 20 minutes without one of them starting to take shots at the other. And it's usually Molly, because they're in the market shopping, and Issa is snatched. Let me tell you something. Sis is putting that season 4 money to good use. Word. They're just busting it up, talking about girlfriend things. They start talking about their men. Issa, I don't think she was taking a shot at Molly. I think she was saying, telling the truth to one of her really good girlfriends, her best friend at this point. And she's telling her that, she has to stop making situations in her life difficult, which I talked about before. Like, Molly makes issues out of nothing, right? So she's telling her good girlfriend the truth about the situation. No malice. Molly, now all of a sudden, Issa has been talking to her this way since they've been friends. Now all of a sudden, everything that she says is, hitting her in a certain way, and she gets offended by that and then shoots back that she's banging the TSA guy for toiletries. Listen, I laughed. It was wrong, but it was a good little comeback. And although it was a good comeback, it was low. It was a low blow, and that really hit Issa in a place where, the girl is already low. She already going through it with seeing, the man that she built, somebody else enjoy the benefits of him. And, she can't really talk to you about that because you're extra sensitive, Molly. And then finally, when she, tells you the truth about the situation, you shoot back at her in a way that only an enemy would. So because of that, they decide to talk because they realize that they're off. Like, something is not right. So instead of having the conversation, I'm like, where were y'all going? Like, what was so important that you two best friends couldn't stop and have that conversation right there? Couldn't get your groceries and unload it at somebody's house and sit in the living room and hash it out? Why did you decide to meet at another time? Fix it now. Did they have somewhere to go? I don't remember that. Because they have not had this meeting, now the dialogue between them through text is extra sensitive. This is a Thanksgiving episode. Everybody's preparing for Thanksgiving with their families, except for Condola, who does not have any family here. So she's having a Friendsgiving, and Lawrence is coming over. We will get into that. Issa and her brother are actually going to Thanksgiving at their mom's house. They're not excited about it, but they're going. When they get there, they see that somebody's on the stretcher. They become concerned because they think that it's their mother. They both start taking off running, and then the brother realizes that it's her boyfriend, and they're not concerned anymore. So their mother hops in the ambulance and goes to the hospital with their stepdad. They want them to stay and, have Thanksgiving with their kids. They decide not to. They go to a Mexican restaurant that, of course, on Thanksgiving is packed. So there's an hour-long wait. So Issa texts her friend, and she says, listen, I'm going to be late. She doesn't get into the details, but I'm coming over, but I'm going to be late. Molly looks at the message. Do you, girl? Why are you mad about that? Like, everything she does pisses her off, and I don't know why. Like, how did they get here? What happened? I guess we're going to see it build up until the season finale, but I'm like, still, I feel like there needs to be something else. Something else has to have happened. Is it because Issa never really agreed with her relationship with the married dude? Is that it? I don't know, but I feel like they already started in a weird place. So now let's talk about this moment that set Twitter ablaze. So while Issa and her brother are having Thanksgiving dinner at this Mexican restaurant, I don't know why I keep on saying that. Is it because I want to experience that? I think I want to. I was just like, oh, Mexican restaurants are open on Thanksgiving? I thought that everything was basically closed. You know, maybe that's just Philly. But I feel like everything is closed on Thanksgiving. I would love, don't let me say this too loud before my mother hears it, but I would love to experience Thanksgiving at a restaurant. But you know what? No, I feel sorry for the workers. Never mind. It'll never happen. So anyway, while they're at the restaurant, she admits to her brother that she's kind of feeling some sort of way about Lawrence and Condola because she feels like she's reaping the benefits of a man that she helped put together. Listen, she is. Like, that's what's happening here. That's what's happening here. But I don't think Issa realizes is that she helped put Lawrence together or make him the man that he is after she broke his heart. So yeah, she supported him and all of this stuff, right? But the man that he is now for Condola, sad to say, he would have never been for Issa because of how she supported him. You know what I mean? Like, she, in a sense, really never let this dude's feet touch the ground. She took care of everything for Lawrence. It wasn't until she stopped doing that because they broke up that he was able to become this person that he is now, and he's that person for Condola. So I think that she's starting to think that I could have had that guy, but I feel like if they were still together, he would not be the guy that he is, because he probably would have still been on the couch because she still would have been supporting him, preparing for whatever moment that he was preparing for. I think it took him getting his heart broken, having to find a home. That breakup put him in survival mode. He realized that he did not have something to fall back on, and that something was Issa. So he really had to, sink or swim. So he was able to become that person because of that. So I think that she's thinking, if we were still together, I would have him. No, you wouldn't. That he wouldn't be that. He's this person after heartbreak. He's this person after no longer having you. But this is what she thinks, right? And her brother, like any family member would, encourages her. And I understand that, because I don't think that was the time to give her some real talk, especially when she's finally opening up about it. But he says, you know what? You have every right to feel that way. She does, right? Because she sees Lawrence for who he is now, and that's what she always wanted him to be. But he was never that with her. And I think it's really easy to be like, oh, she's reaping the benefits of all the hard work that I put into him, and not looking at, oh, I was probably the thing holding him back from being that person. It's very easy to put it on somebody else instead of looking at yourself and realizing that although you loved him, you needed to let him fail. And that's just a problem that all of us deal with when we have people in our lives that we love. We don't, some of us catch them even before they fall. Sometimes they just gotta fall. Now let's get into this Friendsgiving. Lawrence didn't fit. So he's at Condola's Friendsgiving, and it's a bunch of uptight blacks. You know what I mean? It is what it is. And he's trying to be comfortable in this situation and trying to be the good boyfriend, because I think that's what he thinks he is to Condola. But later on he finds out through her drunk friend that he's just a good time. Basically the rebound after, her divorce. And I think he finally realized that what he thought this was, it wasn't necessarily the same thing for Condola, because later he confronts her about it, and he's just like, well, I didn't know that you didn't want to get married again. And she was just like, I told you about that. I was married before. I don't want to get married again. And I don't know if he thought that because she said that she didn't want to get married again, that meant that she didn't want to be in a committed long-term relationship or, have a family. But I think for him, he doesn't want to be in a relationship with her if it's not going to marriage, because I think that's how he thinks of relationships. He seems to be a long-term relationship, marriage kind of guy, and he got with a woman who isn't that. So Condola then says, well, you don't need to be concerned about me and like where I'm at in the relationship, because I'm not quite sure where you're at, because I'm starting to find out all of these things about you and your ex, and your relationship is starting to look a little funny to me, basically. And he's just like, no, we're done, we're over. And then Condola is like, well, if she didn't cheat on you, would you be here right now? I didn't think that question was fair, because she did. You know what I mean? And he made the decision to not be with someone that cheated on him. So he's here with you now, Condola. I didn't think it was a fair question. I feel like I'm by myself in that, because a lot of other people, like a lot of people on Twitter were just like, yeah, she's right. And I'm like, she's not right to throw that question out there, because it's a question that doesn't make sense with reality. Like, the reality is he was with somebody for 5 years who cheated on him. He broke up with them and they're no longer together. Of course, if she would not have cheated on him, he wouldn't be here with you right now. That doesn't mean that he doesn't want to be in a relationship with you. He found you because of that. That's just what happened. But if you look at their situation, the way she's asking this question, then Condola makes sense. Where it's like, oh, well, if she wouldn't have cheated on you, if she wouldn't have cheated on you, you wouldn't be here with me. So obviously you have feelings for her. Like it's just a slippery slope that she's trying to go down. And I just don't understand that. I just did not feel like her question was valid. And I'm thinking, were you asking that question to maybe put distance between you and Lawrence? Because that's exactly what it did. She also said that she didn't invite him for Thanksgiving. So I don't know. I think that maybe he wants more than she wants. This is giving me Molly and Asian Bae. This is giving me the male side of Molly and Asian Bae, because here we have a guy who wants more and a woman who is okay with where they're at. And I think that's the same thing going on with Molly and Asian Bae. Asian Bae is fine where they're at, and Molly wants more. She just has a different way of going about it, blowing up on them, and then asking about it. And Lawrence just asks the questions that need to be, answered. So I don't know. I don't think that Condola was right in asking that question, because either way, he would not come out looking good. You know what I mean? If he tells her the truth, which is, well, she cheated on me, so I am here with you, he doesn't look good. If he says, well, you know what? If she would not have cheated on me, I would still be with her, he doesn't look good. It just doesn't work out for him in any kind of way. Please come in.
How's it going?
I'm trying to finish.
Okay, because she's in 4 minutes. I know you're trying to finish.
Okay, I'm about to wrap up.
Be in your,
Okay, thank you. Family. However, I would have preferred for Lawrence to answer the question. Either way, he wouldn't have won, right? But the silence. Now that was an answer Condola did not need, because he was silent. He never said yes. He never said no. Like, you know what I mean? Like, say something, but to be silent makes you look like you're caught in something. And it's, dude, the silence was deafening. And Condola was sitting there like, she knows. Although I think that her question was not fair, I think as a woman, you kind of know. She sees them. When she saw them in a restaurant busting it up, she saw something. She's not an idiot, right? She read something, she saw it, and so she's probably been thinking about that ever since. And now, because Lawrence feels like the rebound guy, and because he had a very tense conversation with Condola, Lawrence is in his feelings, because that's what Lawrence is. Like, Lawrence is a very sensitive guy. So he's home on the couch looking at Instagram stories. Why are you still following your ex? I know some stories come up even if you're not following the person, so maybe that could be the situation. But Issa's Instagram story comes up, and he looks at her story. And when a story is done, he responds with a laughing emoji. And then we end with Issa responding. And then so brilliantly, we hear The Case of the Ex, the Maya song, come up, and I'm like, here we go. It's going to get even messier. I love this show. Because at the end when we saw like I was watching this with my family again. I need to learn, but there was no sex this episode, right? Thank you, Jesus. But we were sitting on the couch, and when the little dots came up, we were all like, ooh. Anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about in this episode. What did you think of this episode? Let's talk about it in the comments section below. And if you like what you see here, please like, comment, subscribe, and share. And I will see you next Sunday for the following episode of Insecure. I was going to say the Real Housewives of Insecure. Ciao. Insecure. Love you guys. Bye.